Halo, selamat malam. Salam olahraga dan juga seluruh rekan-rekan sahabat SPORTCAST. Hari ini adalah hari spesial bersama saya Longjin Stamio, dan inilah momen spesial di mana sangat sulit mendapatkan kesempatan yang luar biasa karena hari ini kita kehadiran seorang Presiden Brave Combat Federations, Mr. Muhammad Shahid. Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
Wow, I'm just next to the top level of the MMA world global.
Yes.
Brave.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, a long flight to Indonesia. So this is the third time to Indonesia, isn't it?
Third time to Indonesia, yes. And the flight is good. The flight's not so bad. It's 12 hours, but it was a smooth flight.
And with a good weather.
Oh, definitely. I love the rain.
Ya, dan juga di sebelahnya lagi ada seorang Ibu Rika Aryuna. Beliau adalah prinsipal dari KHK Holdings di Indonesia. KHK adalah Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Selamat malam Ibu Rika, apa kabar?
Selamat malam.
Tetap cerah dan juga semangat karena besok showtime-nya.
Udah pasti.
Gimana persiapan dari acara ini?
Ya setiap event biasalah ada sedikit kendala, tapi ya mudah-mudahan aman-aman aja.
Oke. Dan rekan-rekan SPORTCAST, teman-teman sobat SPORTCAST, ini adalah kita akan menggali lebih dalam lagi bagaimana persiapan, dan juga ini satu momen yang kita ingin tanya untuk bagaimana career dan juga para atlet-atlet Indonesia mempunyai kesempatan yang sangat besar dengan jalur yang akan dibawa oleh Brave dengan seluruh jenjang-jenjang yang ada hingga ke international fight. Alright, Mr. Shahid. This is the first time 2018 that we host in Jakarta,
Yes.
Indonesia, and that is the first kickoff in Indonesia, and the second is the last year in Bali. It's a Brave 66. The first is 1266, and this time is 76.
Right.
We are all very excited, and especially all the fighters are waiting for this show.
No, absolutely. I think if you think about it, 2018, our first show, I think this was an example. What you're seeing today in Brave 76 is an example of what the efforts of the government of Indonesia and of course Rika as a representative of Brave in Indonesia and ASEAN region, what they have done, the effort they have put in, not just in hosting Brave events, but the key point we've always said, the first time we came to Indonesia, we said that we are not just an event, we are a vision, and we're trying to create a national ecosystem for mixed martial art in Indonesia. And of course, that was the first time, and when we said it, is it true or not? We really don't know. And today we're seeing the results of it. It's a byproduct when you see not just 3 events in Indonesia, but at the same time, you're seeing a national development program, coaching program, amateur development, all of that combined together. And this is the most important thing. Today, we're seeing 6 Indonesian fighters competing in an international organization against international fighters. So it's everything that we are doing is much more bigger than just an event. But of course, everybody can come tomorrow and enjoy a great night of entertainment and fights. But behind the scenes, there's so much more. So we're excited to be here for the third time. And we think that this is just a tip of the iceberg for what's coming in 2024.
Yeah, not only all the visitors, all the camp, all the fighters, the coach, the manager, and all who love to fight.
Absolutely.
Like Indonesian, every time when happen like the street fight, they just leave it and want to see who's going to be the winner. And
That's
then after winning, and then they divide.
Yeah.
And this is a good place for them to let's do the career and make a good rule, and then you have the potential to be the great athlete and in a good development until the global championship, isn't it?
Absolutely. Now you can dream. I mean, that's the key point. There is opportunity. Everybody sees great superstars of fighters internationally in big events, but can you dream is the question. And we all say that, oh, you know what, dream and you can be whatever you want. Don't give up. But that's not always true. You have to look at, do you have the infrastructure? Unfortunately, if you don't have the infrastructure, you have to accept the fact that I cannot dream, you know? And this is something we cannot allow in the sport of mixed martial art. When the sport has globalized to where it is today, no international organization is taking that responsibility on their shoulder and saying that my priority more than my balance sheet is green or red at the end of the year. More than that, my priority as an organization is to take the responsibility of developing the sport of mixed martial art. And that's the vision of His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. And that is the vision of a vision called Brave Combat Federation. So when we are here today, you can say that Indonesian fighters can dream. Indonesian children who are interested in mixed martial art or any martial arts can dream. And that's the opportunity, and that's what we are proud of. You have events in Indonesia. Brave is here for the third time.
Yeah.
So it's not one-off event. And at the same time, you're looking at the development program since 2018, what the federation has done, what Rika and the team has done. You're seeing referees and judges and athletes and gyms and managements and academies, everything being built at a top level and then competing. And today you have 6 Indonesian fighters competing in Brave Combat Federation, and the whole world is going to be watching them.
Yeah.
So this is not just about the 6 fighters. This is about those 100,000 young 10-year-olds to 15-year-olds that are wishing and watching this and saying that I want to be that one day. But don't worry, you can be, because we are here for you. You don't have to look at US or another country. We are in your home. Yes. And you have the opportunity to do it. So you can now dream and you can be what you want to be. As long as you have the talent, as long as you train hard and work hard, you can achieve it.
Wow, this is what we like from Brave, we know that everyone is, after they fight, after they do the championship, the local championship, though, where should they go? There's no link to the, let's say, to the Asia, to the world, and Brave give all this. And their dream can make it happen through Brave. That's what we love so much about Brave. And it's an honor for us to be the representative of Brave Indonesia, and hopefully for Asia and so on, isn't it?
Absolutely. You need a strong team. You need a amazing infrastructure, and you can't do it without a collaboration of everybody with the same mindset. And the first day we came to Indonesia in 2018, we understood that Indonesia has that vision. The government of Indonesia was supporting us 100%.
Yeah.
And today we have the Minister of Sports, we have LPDUK, and we have everybody combined together. So it is not one organization or one individual's effort. It is a combined effort where everybody in their positions have the same mindset. And we are here to make sure that we could put the platform, but it won't happen without the local support or the government support. And we are having all those combined together. It is a match made in heaven. So this is amazing opportunity for Indonesia. But at the same time, one thing that you mentioned is also the beauty of Brave Combat Federation is that we're bringing the world to Indonesia, and we're taking Indonesia to the world. And that is a key point that we have to understand, that for the past decades, we've always had this challenge where we look at athletes competing internationally and we need validation from international organizations, or we need validation from the international media. Today, you don't need to be in that position. Today, you don't have to go and rely on international organizations that's happening in the US or another part of the world to have your Indonesian fighters compete there. And we wish that they find Indonesia valuable. Today, we make our own value.
Yes.
Today, mixed martial art and Indonesia has its own value, and they've created that. So it's fantastic for us to be here and make sure that we are a small part of that value for mixed martial art being created. So yeah, excited for that.
Yeah, exactly. This is very special show because it's live broadcasting tomorrow to 160 plus countries.
Yes, we are broadcasting in 160 plus countries, 848 million households. And our digital reach for 2023, we made a fantastic partnership with a lot of OTT platforms from MX Player to Geo and Airtel in Nigeria, but also in Indonesia. We have a great partnership with Video, and combined together, we're reaching to over 1 billion new OTT users. So the reach is fantastic. It is one of the biggest reach in the whole continent of Asia.
Yeah, so it's a high potential for all the exposure actually. And also, talking about the infrastructure, this is very important. Like building house, we need infrastructure. The right infrastructure is going to build a good house. And also for athlete, we're going to start from amateur until the national champion and then go to Asia and the world. Ibu Rika, ini pertanyaan tuh Bu Rika nih.
Apa tuh?
Bagaimana persiapan untuk para atlet-atlet kita yang sudah berhasil kita kirim? Kemudian ini adalah satu kesempatan yang memang ditunggu-tunggu oleh seluruh atlet. Dan semua bergairah, karena apa? There is hope. Di dalam Brave ada harapan bahwa mereka setelah berlatih, mereka dapat mempunyai jenjang karir dan juga mereka dapat disaksikan oleh lebih dari 160 negara live bersama dengan ini. Ibu Rika nih yang sangat berjasa untuk para atlet mempunyai kesempatan dan infrastruktur yang dibangun ini rencananya atau yang sudah terjadi seperti apa? Mungkin boleh di-share.
Rencananya gini, bedanya gini, aku kebetulan orang Indonesia.
Yes.
Jadi Brave itu mungkin kalau untuk saat ini mungkin yang paling banyak mengeluarkan fighter Indonesia menjadi internasional. Di tahun ini aja aku keluarin 6. Dan tahun ini di Brave 76 itu memang pertama kali nih semuanya lawan negara-negara luar negeri.
Nasionalisme kita besok nih, Indonesia menang atau negara lain?
Udah pasti Indonesia dong.
Amin. Kita doakan terbaik.
Iya, karena gitu. Ini seru banget karena salah satunya misalnya ada Vincent Majid.
Yes.
Lawan Mongolia.
Iya.
Ini musuh bebuyutan nih kayaknya ya.
Kita udah lihat tadi, ini lawannya cukup gede badannya.
Iya.
Lebih gede, tetapi saya yakin mental anak Indonesia akan lebih garang.
Ya, jadi si Vincent Majid itu kemarin di Singapura kalah nih sama si Mongolia. Tapi saya yakin Vincent Majid kali ini bisa menang. Amin,
karena home base, tuan rumah. Jadi mudah-mudahan dengan fans yang begitu banyak akan menjadi support psikologis yang baik untuk para atlet.
Iya, udah gitu juga ada Winry dari Kobe. Ya, dia juga udah banyak sabuknya ya, gitu loh. Terus ada juga dari Han Academy. Ada juga dari Baku Hantam. Jadi variasi.
Why? So, Mr. Shahid, this is a good thing about this Brave is we are doing that. We combine all MMA federations into one, so we have no competition between federation. That's a good thing that Ibu Rika just hold it, and we make the special design that we welcome every federations. And this is the channel, the best channel for them to grow their career into the global nation fighter champion.
Absolutely. You have to work together. Mixed martial art is the fastest growing sport in the world. Mixed martial art is the most global MMA or global sport in the world. You know, nobody has globalized as much as this sport that we are having today. It's a beautiful sport. So when you have a lot of organizations and working together as one, I think there's no better result that will come out than that, you know. And we always preach for that as MMA community. If you look at Brave, we follow the same values. We have co-promoted more than any other organization that's out there. We go to every country and work with the local promoters. We don't go there and compete with the local promoters. We know the efforts and hard work they have put in developing MMA in their countries. So when a global organization like us goes, we think it is only valuable to collaborate with them and partner with them and share our strengths, and combine together we're developing MMA in that country completely. So the result is amazing. Today, if you look at tomorrow's event, you're seeing Murad Guzinov fighting in the event. And that is a very important example of what happens when you have that infrastructure being built, a strong foundation in the country. He is undefeated as a pro. But if you're looking behind his history, you're looking at the amateur level, not just a world champion at IMMAF, he's a junior world champion. So that is where the infrastructure and the system of MMA is today, that you could become a junior champion, a senior champion, and then you could go into professional level. So you have a lot of experience from a very young age. Before we were happy with the experience at the amateur level, now you can have the experience of the amateur level at the senior level, junior level, youth level. Wow. So you are starting young, and your experience starts at that age, and you become a pure MMA fighter. By the time you reach at a professional level, you have a huge amount of experience behind you. And you cannot have that if you don't have an infrastructure and a foundation from the amateur level. And what you mentioned about the federations combined together for the same cause is going to result in a lot of Murad Guzinovs from Indonesia.
Yes, and especially Indonesia, the one of the biggest populations, 280 millions. And I believe there are lots of fighters, but we haven't found it yet. That's why Rika and all the team in Indonesia, we are looking for all great fighters, and then we do the good infrastructure. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Rika also we do like the scouting service. We can collaborate with all federations, all kind of fights like karate, taekwondo, wrestling. Pencak silat is real from Indonesia. I hope Pencak silat gonna be one of the great fighter.
Absolutely. You look at the history of mixed martial art, right? why do we love the sport of mixed martial art? The beginning, the story of mixed martial art, always what was fascinating for all of us was because it was about who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, we didn't know how to decide who's the best fighter in the world. So we had this competition between which martial art is better than which martial arts, and then we loved the idea in 1993 when we saw boxer fighting taekwondo and taekwondo fighting Muay Thai and then jiu-jitsu fighting kickboxer. So that combination is what we were in love with. And we had arguments between different schools of martial arts about which is the best martial art. So it was a fun time. But as we matured, as the sport matured, as we matured as mixed martial art fans, the key thing was, how do you combine them together? So you could be a Muay Thai fighter with Western boxing hands. And that developed into a stronger Muay Thai system where you could actually have the skills, but have really good hands as well. And then you started learning how to wrestle. So every time a new martial arts came in, it always added more value, because not that martial art is the best martial art, but we learned something called how to include the strengths of each martial art into mixed martial art and become a more complete fighter. And that's what we're seeing today with Sambo, where we know wrestlers were dominating, jiu-jitsu was dominating. Today we're seeing in the grappling and MMA world, Sambo martial artists, champions dominating MMA. And that's because there's a little bit of very small little new ideas and new skills that the rest of the world haven't seen, that they have adapted and they're utilizing in mixed martial arts. So I'm sure that when you have a martial art like Silat that has a huge history behind it, I'm sure that that'll be some secret special skills that the Indonesian fighters could always carry with them when they go into the world. And at the same time, that is the right way for people to find out what makes this guy special. There's something with them that we don't know about. And then when they find out it's the martial art, the history of Silat and the techniques that they're adding to it, I'm sure that a lot of people around the world is going to understand what that martial art is more, and the popularity increases for that sport.
Yeah, and Mr. Shahid also, he was a fighter, isn't it? And up to now, you are still a fighter. Boxing, isn't it? Boxing and MMA, in one period of time.
I used to do Muay Thai, kickboxing, and MMA.
Wow.
A very long time back. It was at least 60 kgs back.
60 kgs back. And now he's the president, and we respect so high. And then I think these days, this kind of sport showbiz is very happening in Indonesia. And we know that everyone that can say that I'm the best, but they need the cage
Absolutely.
to prove it. Who's going to be the best? And I think this is Brave gonna give the opportunity to show that which fighting is the best. And this is gonna be a good show, and already happened in Indonesia. And also, I think this is gonna be mixed up with the sport tourism, so people will come to Indonesia, and people love our country, and this is gonna be a good selling point, and people will come to Indonesia for the sports show.
Absolutely. Look, we mentioned about Brave Combat Federation that it's much more than just an event. We call what Brave does is we call it as sports values. So every country that hosts Brave Combat Federation, it adds a lot of sports value to the country. We know that mixed martial art is the fastest growing sport in the world. We know that there's no sport that is having the power of globalization like mixed martial art. But Brave Combat Federation takes those values and actually presents it to the host country. So some of the major values in that is definitely, like you mentioned, sports tourism. And that comes in two different ways when you have the whole world's eyeballs into Indonesia. Because we are having the most global mixed martial organization in Brave Combat Federation. There's no organization in the world that has traveled to 30 different countries. And we've done that, and we've broken the previous record held by UFC, which was 30 years, 28 countries. We've gone to 30 countries in just 7 years' time. So when you have an organization that global enter and being hosted in Indonesia, you have the whole world's eyeballs on Indonesia. But at the same time, you're also looking at the how big of a media giant Brave Combat Federation is. So like we mentioned, when you're broadcasting on the biggest networks around the world and biggest OTT platforms around the world, and we're broadcasting live to 160 plus countries and to 848 million households, that is also giving the exposure to what Indonesia is to the rest of the world as well. So it goes two ways. And so definitely when we are showing people that the power of Indonesia in hosting international events, in making sure that they have the top talents in the country, it's a great awareness, and definitely that contributes to sports tourism, but it also contributes to creating a national development program for the sport. but it also adds value in terms of opening into the business side of things, in terms of trade relationships and foreign direct investment into the countries. So we believe that sports has the power to bring the countries together, and I think Brave Combat Federation really proves that it can make that happen.
Yes, we hope that Brave gonna build up and develop the sport business industry. Actually, that's one of the interesting thing for the brand, maybe for the bank, for the governments, and for the business unit, nutrition, and so many. Just name it. Ibu Rika, what's your plan untuk apakah kita akan masuk ke seluruh Indonesia dari ujung Sabang sampai Merauke dan semua potensi akan kita gali. Gimana langkah-langkahnya nih Bu Rika supaya mungkin para fighters mereka menunggu dengan podcast ini, mudah-mudahan kita akan mempunyai harapan yang sangat besar karena kita ada jalurnya dan juga strategi akan dibentuk. Mungkin ada INAMAF ya terakhir ya, Indonesia MMA Federations, dan juga ada scouting service, Road to Brave, kemudian juga ada fight night seperti yang akan besok akan terjadi, kemudian juga ada Fight Week, Asian Championship, dan World Championship. Ibu Rika, plannya gimana untuk Indonesia nih? Untuk potensi semua orang menunggu jalur atau kesempatan yang akan diberikan dari Brave Indonesia.
Ya, kesempatannya banyak sih ya. Kayak pertama bukan hanya fighter, tapi kayak referee, wasit, juri juga kebetulan lagi pertama kemarin buat Brave Academy.
Wow, dan pelatihan internasional ya? Pelatihan internasional.
Wow. Dan membernya tuh bukan hanya dari Indonesia,
dari
tapi
mana aja tuh?
Ada dari Cyprus, Iran, sama China.
Wow.
Dan itu di Indonesia.
Keren.
Dan itu di Indonesia.
Dan ini pertama ya, di luar Bahrain ini pertama kita Indonesia ya?
Iya.
Oh, ini keren banget ya, harus tepuk tangan, boleh nggak tepuk tangan?
Boleh.
Iya.
Jadi udah abis itu kita juga karena aku udah pernah ngirim kan fighter Indonesia ke internasional. Kalau dibilang bagus banget. Cuma mungkin pembinaannya yang memang harus lebih diperhatikan gitu loh. Dalam arti makanya aku buat gini, ada Brave Scouting Series.
Ya.
Itu untuk para pemula.
Berarti mereka yang belum terlalu ahli ya, atau amatir ya, disaring dulu semuanya.
Iya. Dan itu kita nanti bekerja sama juga sama federasi internasional yang kita kirim juga tuh.
Oke.
Ya, abis dari dia ikutin champion di negara-negara mana, baru dia masuklah Road to Brave.
Oke.
Road to Brave tuh disaring lagi. Ikut Brave di mana-mana, bisa di Bahrain, di mana-mana, baru ikutlah dia, baru bisa masuk Brave Fight Night.
Oke. Berarti kesempatannya sangat besar karena Brave ini setiap 2 minggu sekali kalau tidak salah ada pertandingan Fight Night seperti yang kita adakan ini ya.
Iya.
Jadi bebas mengirim setiap 2 minggu sebenarnya.
Iya.
Kalau kita ready.
Iya. Nah ini kita lagi coba memang kerja sama LPDUK gitu loh. Karena kebetulan kan LPDUK tuh lembaga pendanaan usaha Kemenpora. Dan kebetulan karena kita juga Brave ini internasional dan ada di 30 country. Jadi mudah-mudahan juga kebetulan kemarin juga udah ngomong sama Mr.Shahid kayak maksudnya merchandise, nutrition. Ini salah satunya. Thank you LPDUK.
Thank you LPDUK. Ini mudah-mudahan menjadi official sportwear-nya Brave Indonesia.
Nah ini contoh ya, ini salah satu produk Indonesia yang dari LPDUK dan ini bagus banget, Gitu.
How's it, Shahid? Is it good?
Oh, fantastic, world class, I love it.
World class, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Ya.
LPDUK, terus kemudian ada scouting series, Road to Brave, kemudian Fight Night, dan juga artinya potensi atau peluang-peluang dari para fighters, atlet sangat terbuka ya.
Sangat karena banyak. Mudah-mudahan sih tahun depan kita rencananya sih pengen buat tiap bulan. Jadi keliling-keliling daerah gitu loh. Jadi kita merekrut amatir, terus wasit juri segala macam. Baru nanti Road to Brave, habis itu Brave Fight Night.
Alright.
Dan mudah-mudahan lagi ngelobi dan kayaknya dikasih Indonesia World Champion.
Yay. kita
minta bantuan Mr. Shahid.
Mr. Shahid, this is we know that Indonesia a lot of population, they love sports so much, and we are starting to have the FIFA World Champion, Asian Games, and then basketball, and now MMA. Not yet. I think Brave is the best solution and best name, a big name, the global worldwide federations.
Absolutely. You've said it. You said right on the point. I mean, when you're looking at the under-17 FIFA World Championship that's happening right now, you're looking at the Asian Games that has happened previously. So there's no question the quality of Indonesia as a country in hosting international events, global events, World Championship level events. So the only difference was that in the sport of mixed martial art, where is the positioning of Indonesia in the world of mixed martial art? And since 2018 till today, with the events that is hosted here for Brave Combat Federation, it gives a clear indication that Indonesia is today leading MMA in as one of the top countries in Asia. So there is always that door open when we're looking at the World Championship, Asian Championships, big MMA events for amateur world level. Indonesia is always going to be in the top tier of the countries that is going to be potential to host these events. So the future is exciting.
Yeah. We never imagined that Asia Championship, if we hold it, 200 fighters in it. They are joining to the championship, and then if the world is 600 fighters from all nations.
Absolutely, yeah. We've had over 50 plus or 55 plus countries and over 600 athletes in the previous World Championships. But every World Championships, you're always seeing those numbers increase. So if we have World Championships in Indonesia, we really don't know what the numbers will be, but it's definitely going to be much more bigger than the previous numbers we've seen, like 655 countries. We're going to see much more than that.
So what about 2024? And supported by our Minister, Youth and Sport, Republic of Indonesia and Bahrain.
When you have the support of the government, LPDUK and the Minister of Sports, like what we are seeing right now, I'm 100% sure and that anything is possible. Everything can be pulled out and at the top level.
Cool. We are praying for the best. 2024. Ibu Rika langsung disambut. Langsung salaman aja kali ya. Ya karena ini adalah satu kesempatan kalau memang kita bisa meng-host, ini adalah pertama di dunia yang memang mengadakan World Championship MMA Brave. Dan di mana-mana tidak ada, ini sudah level seperti FIFA ya sebenarnya. Piala Dunia tetapi hanya MMA, the single event sebenarnya. Dan ini menghadirkan 600 fighters. Bisa kebayang nggak seluruh dunia datang ke Indonesia? Pasti bawa coach, pasti bawa manajer,
pasti hotel laku ya.
Hotel laku. Kayaknya jualan Aryuna laku, kemudian banking laku, dan juga semuanya akan sangat menjadi momen dinanti-nantikan. Ini tidak pernah terjadi karena ini akan terjadi. World Championship akan digelar biasanya 1 minggu. Is it World Championship gonna hold like fight week for 1 week, 7 days, something like that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So it's going to be the industry of sport and every aspect of our sport related shareholders and all brands gonna involve there.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have an event of that magnitude, like a World Championship, you're going to see everything flourish, right? Your hospitality industry on the business side, the transportation, the hospitality industry, the restaurants, the hotels, everything is going to, because you're talking about just the athletes alone, we're talking about 600 to 700 people that's going to be coming in from multiple countries. So you're looking at a boost in the tourism, a boost in the hospitality industry, but also it's also going to be one of those networking events where you have culture exchanges from different countries come into Indonesia and share a lot of what they're capable of doing. So we've seen a huge amount of networking that goes on in events like this. And I think that mixed martial art is the best example of how a sport can globalize so fast. We've not seen any other sport globalize in the past 30 years. We're still a young sport, but the way it has globalized, it's more bigger than actually football in terms of how much it has globalized today. And I think that if you have to host a world championship, then the best bet is to host a MMA World Championship.
Wow, can't wait. And I think last questions. Is it okay? Last question. What is your hopes and expectations for the future collaboration and your ultimate dream? Because since you are the top level, the highest level, the president of Brave Combat Federation is a global worldwide. What is your ultimate goal? And what's the collaboration between Bahrain and Indonesia? This is very important.
If you look at the vision of His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, when he started Brave Combat Federation, the vision was very clear. It was not to create another MMA organization while you have 7,000 MMA organizations already within the industry. Our goal was, our vision was very clear, and that was to change the sport of mixed martial art from an event business to a sports business. And although mixed martial art is globalized at where we are today and how big the sport is in 2023, we still feel like there's a lot of development program that could be added to it. There's a lot of lack of structure to be created, lack of governance in the sport of mixed martial art. And Brave Combat Federation's job is to build that governance, build that infrastructure and foundations in every country possible. So we don't have to rely on organizations and brands to be responsible for the dream of athletes. But as long as there is a structure globally built, nationally and globally, you could dream and you could have the hope, and you could become the best athlete that you want to be. And this is where we are, that we feel like mixed martial art today is an English speaking sport, where if you are from a different country and you don't speak English, you don't know how to trash talk and you don't know how to bring excitement, you know. I'm not against it. I love it. We all love a little bit of excitement in any sport, and we expect that from mixed martial art, because there's a lot of pushing and shoving and trash talks that goes on mixed martial art, which is also the sweet element of it. But we can't make that the highest priority. If you don't have those values, that does not mean that you cannot be the best athlete in the world. Our goal is, how can you have a Lionel Messi in mixed martial art? We've always said that you don't have to speak English. I've never heard his interviews in my life, because he doesn't really just do interviews in English, but arguably till today, he might be the best athlete and best footballer in the world. Talent is the variable, the only variable. And that's what we're trying to find in mixed martial art, that if you have that structure from a child having a dream to be a mixed martial art superstar, a world champion, from the dream to glory, does he have a proper structure created, a FIFA system like football? And that's the system we're trying to create with Brave Combat Federation. We're creating a FIFA structure for MMA, where you have the gym, you have the amateur level at the national level. You could compete as an amateur at the world championships. And if you have the talent, you're going to be in the national team. And when you bring the results in the national team, there's no question you are the best athlete that is representing your country. And when you go into the professional side, you will be selected because you have the highest podiums for your country. It's a no-brainer. You'll be selected from that particular country. And then you compete in the professional level, and then you perform at the professional level. We want to create that structure, a business model that's going to change, where the private sectors, the government can put their resources into mixed martial art at a national level. And eventually that national level is going to take them to the global level. And ultimately, we're going to make sure that there is a strong governance for all the structure, which is why, if you look at Brave Combat Federation, we are the official partners in 2023 for the International Mixed Martial Art Federation. So that clearly shows what our goals are in terms of priority of governance and priority of creating that global ecosystem for mixed martial art. So if you look at the future for Brave Combat Federation, you will see something that is going to be very different from the MMA that you see today. Today, you see the organizations, big organizations around the world, that is competing about who's number one, who's number two, who's number three. And everybody asks Brave Combat Federation, where do you rank yourself? Are you number one, number two, number three? And what's the difference between you and the other ones? And we always say that there was once upon a time, I always give the story that there's once upon a time, we all had this mobile phone called Nokia, and we were all struggling and fighting over which Nokia number do you have, you know, and what shape of mobile do you have. And one fine day we woke up and none of us remember that brand anymore. We're all into a new brand called Apple. And what happened was not that that brand was competing with Nokia. It just bought a new system. So we're creating a new system. So if you ask which position we are in, we're not competing. The MMA system that's existing today are Nokia, and Brave Combat Federation is Apple.
Cool. Awesome. It's Brave Combat Federation under your leadership. Respect. Thank you so much. Bu Rika, kata-kata penutup atau pesan-pesan untuk fighters atau keseruan acara besok dan juga untuk future yang akan disampaikan dan harapan collaborations dengan Shahid dengan Indonesia.
Kata-kata penutupnya satu.
Apa tuh?
Baru pertama kali fighter internasional pakai brand Indonesia yang dibuat sama LPDUK. Thank you LPDUK.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dulu nggak pernah. Dulu pasti kalau mau event diimport dari Bahrain. Pas ngelihat sampelnya Mr.Shahid oke. Ya ini pertama kali.
Iya.
Bangga dong Indonesia.
Akhirnya Indonesia produknya bisa masuk ke sportwear dan juga dipakai oleh para fighters, dan juga khususnya terima kasih untuk Bapak Menpora ya di Tejo. Thank you so much, dan juga Direktur LPDUK yang sudah sangat suportif, dan juga untuk para sponsors, para fans base in Indonesia, Brave, all fighters, all camps. They are joining tomorrow, Shahid.
Oh, I can't wait.
Thank you juga buat IO.
Thank you untuk IO.
Yang udah kerja keras.
Dan juga untuk tim Ms.Rika dan juga semua. Oh ya, PT Kubik juga. Thank you so much yang sudah menghandle sejauh ini. Dan juga can you say some words like saksikan? Saksikan keseruannya. Oke. Brave 76.
Brave 76. Was that fine? Okay.
Apa baiknya ya? Okay. Brave 76. Be brave. Brave 76.
Alright. Brave 76.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. Baik. Nampaknya thank you so much Ibu Rika. Terima kasih untuk semua penjelasannya, dan juga untuk teman-teman atau rekan-rekan dari Sportcast. Thank you so much untuk kesempatan saya Long Jeans dapat ditunjuk langsung untuk menjadi host dadakan, tetapi but okay, I enjoy because I'm interviewing the president of Brave Combat Federations. Mr. Shahid, thank you so much. Can't wait for tomorrow. Big show in Indonesia, the third times. And last word, punch them.
Likewise, thank you for having me. There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Ibu Rika, thank you so much. Selamat malam. Brave 76 hebat.